Mr. Williams was a paint collector with a particular fondness for paintings depicting historic English country homes, churches, and villages. He frequently purchased paintings from Mr. Britnall's business. One day, he received a price list with a note from Mr. Britnall himself, suggesting that Mr. Williams might be interested in painting number 978. Despite the steep price, Mr. Williams eagerly ordered it. A few days later, the artwork arrived. Ecstatic, Mr. Williams tore off the wrapping paper to reveal a photograph from a previous century, depicting a sizable country estate. Towering trees flanked the yard, and 3 rows of windows adorned the house. In a corner of the artwork, the letters AWF appeared, likely the artist's initials. On the back of the photo, a torn piece of paper read, Anningley Hall, Sex. Mr. Williams didn't think the image was particularly special and couldn't understand why Mr. Britnall believed he would appreciate it or why the cost was so high. He decided to return it the next day. That evening, his close friend John Garwood visited and noticed the painting. "A new one, Williams? I kind of like it. The light is really good." "A person?" Williams asked, drawing closer. "Oh, you're right, there is. I hadn't noticed before." All that was visible of the person was their head, standing under the shadowy trees on one side of the image, facing the house. "And I suppose the light is quite good," Williams said, "but it's still a bit pricey. I plan to return it tomorrow." Later, Williams and Garwood went out to dinner with a few friends who joined them for drinks afterward. One of them, an art enthusiast, remarked, "Very intriguing. But don't you think it's quite eerie, Williams? The light is good, but that figure in front of the house is unsettling." Williams noticed the figure had moved to the center of the painting, no longer under the trees, but directly in front of the house. It was now on its hands and knees, appearing thin and entirely black, except for a white cross on its back. "Am I losing my mind?" Williams wondered. He decided to lock the photo in a cupboard and document the events since its arrival. "Then I won't think this is all a dream in the morning," he told himself. The next morning, Williams invited his friend Nisbet to view the painting. "Tell me exactly what you see in the picture," he requested. Nisbet began, "I see a country house by moonlight. English, I believe." "Moonlight," Williams interrupted. "Are you sure? There was no moon when I first got it." Nisbet gave him a puzzled look. "Shall I continue? The house has 3 rows of windows." Williams cut in again. "What about people?" "No one," Nisbet said. "But what's this about, Williams?" "I'll explain shortly. Anything else?" "One of the bottom floor windows is open," Nisbet noted. "Oh my," Williams exclaimed. "It's inside the house now." He hurried to check, finding Nisbet's description accurate. He quickly wrote down the details and had Nisbet do the same. Nisbet remarked, "This is the strangest thing I've ever seen. We need to photograph the painting before it changes again and try to locate this place in England. Something strange is happening here." Williams agreed and suggested getting John Garwood's impressions from the previous night. Back then, we could just make out the figure under the trees. Garwood arrived and Nisbet took a photograph of the painting while Garwood described it. Then, the 3 friends decided to take a stroll to clear their heads. Around 5 o'clock, they returned to Williams' house and found Robert, Williams' servant, staring at the painting. Embarrassed, Robert said, "I'm sorry, sir. I couldn't take my eyes off this image." "Don't apologize, Robert. What do you think of it?" Williams asked. "It's not the kind of painting I'd let my daughter see. That thin, eerie figure holding a baby would give her nightmares," Robert said. The 3 men waited for Robert to leave before examining the painting again. The thin, skeletal figure was now leaving the house, holding a baby in its long arms. They studied the picture for 2 hours, but it remained unchanged. They went out for dinner, and when they returned, the house appeared serene and quiet once more, illuminated by the moon. Determined to find Anningley Hall, they researched literature on Essex and Sussex. After hours of work, Williams found a reference in a guidebook. Anningley is a village with an interesting 12th century church next to a beautiful park that used to be the Francis family's country home, Anningley Hall. The Francis family no longer had any living members. The last baby boy vanished mysteriously on a September night in 1802. Suspicions pointed to the Gaudy family, who allegedly stole the last Francis child as revenge for the execution of Tom Gaudy by Sir John Francis. If the story in our painting is true, it seems they did get their revenge, Williams remarked. The painting hasn't changed since and is now displayed in the Anningley, Essex Museum.